Okay, we'll begin. Let's come to our breathing. We always start our inhales, our exhales. That's where it begins. We were talking yesterday about how we're cyclical beings. Everything that we do is based off of some kind of rhythm or another. Our life is built upon rhythms and pulses and time, circadian rhythms in our body, the seasons, speaking of blueberries and all that stuff blooming, the seasons, times of the year. Again, the outer rhythms, and our circadian rhythm, which is tied to our sleep, not to mention the rhythm of our breathing and the pulsing of our heart, which also is rhythmic, and then how it moves, helps to move our circulatory system, and of course our circulatory system, it moves, right? It cycles, and even the other fluids in our bodies, water itself, the water that we're made of is moved and pulled by the moon, and our emotions, and then our lymph system and everything. I mean, we're just built upon cycles and rhythms and seasons. We have seasons in our lives. Some seasons are very uplifting and joyful and life affirming, and then we have seasons in our lives which are darker, a little heavier, and it's just part of living. It's all a part of life, and all these rhythms and changes. It's the element of, or it's part of what's called Prakriti. Prakriti is it's kind of like nature. It's the world that we live in. It's Prakriti, and one of the attributes, the main attribute of Prakriti is that it is always changing. We go through just the cycles of our own life. We start young as little babies, and we get older. So, in other words, it's always moving, and it's always changing, and we're always kind of growing and spiraling and all these things. And if we weren't doing these things, then we would be dead. It's like we need these cycles. It's part of what makes up life. If everything just froze, then nothing would be happening. And our practice is not about like trying to stop time or trying to stop our rhythms and cycles, our ebbing and flowings, the dark seasons, the light seasons. It's not about trying to stop any of that, but it's learning how to move through them with more grace. And so that's in essence what we do is we look through Prakriti. We look at Prakriti through a different lens. We look we look at Prakriti through the lens of our heart and our soul, so that we can move through all the seasons of life with more grace. So with that, we continue to tune into our own cycles, our own rhythms. The breath is usually the one that's easier to tap into. I mean, if you want to go really deep, you could try to tap into your heartbeat and your circulatory system and the synapses and all that stuff going on in your brain. But those it requires a sharpening of your skills, a sharpening of your senses. But the breath is one that we can witness, we can feel it, we can manage it. And we can use our breathing to help also navigate through the certain seasons that we're experiencing at this moment to help bring more of a sense of neutrality or just calm. Can bring us perspective and space. And bring your hands into your heart center. Okay, so we'll open our eyes. Let's come to our hands and knees, and we'll start with the circling around in our hips and in our shoulders, and trying to match the movement of your body with your breathing. So if you think about the qualities of the breath, the quality of your exhale has a descending, usually kind of a quality. Your body contracts on an exhale. You move deeper into yourself on an exhale, so it's like more of this drawing in quality. And your inhales, by nature, they're expanding and they're lengthening, and they give more space. So think about that when you're going around in this circle. When would be a good time to exhale, and when would be a good time to inhale? The exhale is kind of when you draw down and you close off, and you inhale when you open and you expand. And so you start to go with that rhythm in your body. And even if you come to your regular hands and knees now, and you just do the cat-cow for a few rounds, you know, there's one, like the cow position, when you lift your tailbone, chest, and your chin, there's an opening and expanding. That's why that's on an inhale. And on an exhale, when you draw into yourself during the cat position, it feeds the exhale. So notice that rhythm. There's an intelligence to why in yoga they say you inhale here and you exhale there. It's not a random thing. It's very purposeful because our body follows a rhythm and we're trying to find it and to connect with it. Okay, then as you come to your regular tabletop, rock forward, and on an exhale, you can lower down to your chaturanga. And on an inhale, come open for your cobra pose. Then on an exhale, press back into your child's pose. And you find that rhythm there as well. So inhale, roll your spine forward, come through your plank. So it's like you're opening up. Exhale, lower chaturanga. Inhale, up through your cobra. And exhale into your child's pose. And then one more time, inhale, rock it forward. And exhale, lower it down. And then inhale, up through your cobra. And exhale, back through your child's pose. And come forward to your hands and knees. And now on an exhale, press back and go into your down dog pose. You can pedal your feet. Good, then start to press back through your down dog pose. Bend your knees more significantly so that you can push your hips back. Then push off your legs and roll your spine forward. Come into your plank pose. You can do that on an inhale. Now exhale, you're going to round your back in your plank. So round your back in your plank. That's on an exhale. Lower the knees. On an inhale, you'll lift your tailbone, chest, and chin. Then exhale, press it back, go into your down dog pose. You can start with bent knees so that you can straighten the spine. Again, push off your ledge, roll your spine forward on an inhale, come through your plank. Then exhale, round the back. Drop your knees, inhale, lift tailbone, chest and chin. And then exhale, back into your down dog pose with bent knees, opening the hips. And one more time like this. So push through the legs, roll your spine forward on an inhale through your plank. Exhale, round your back in your plank. Drop your knees, inhale, lift tailbone, chest and chin. And exhale, take it back and go into your down dog pose. And now step your feet so you come forward into your forward fold. And pause there for a moment and give a second for your hamstrings. You get into your hamstrings through your abdominals. Remember that, so that when you pull your abdominals in, it gives you more access to your hamstrings. And then inhale, arch up halfway. So here you open, right? That's the element of the inhale. Exhale, you fall in. And gravity takes you usually a little bit on an exhale. Inhale, arch up. And exhale, come down. And inhale, arch up. And exhale, come down. And inhale, we can come up, arms swoop up over the head, and exhale, hands come down and in. We'll do a Surya Namaskar, A, Sun Salutation, A. So inhale, arms up. We did just have solstice not too long ago. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, arch up halfway. Step back, go into your plank, lower down to your chaturanga. That's why that's done on one exhale. Now, inhale, come up through your cobra. Exhale, go back into your down dog. We'll add a leg thing here. Inhale, lift your right leg up. And step the foot forward between your hands on an exhale. Step your back foot forward, come to the front. Inhale, arch up halfway. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, come up, arms up over the head. We're going to just straight into the next one. Exhale, forward fold. And then inhale, arch up. Step back for your plank, lower down, chaturanga. One exhale, ideally. That's done. Inhale, up through your cobra. Exhale, down dog pose. Inhale, lift up through your left leg. And exhale, step the foot forward for your lunge. Step your back foot forward and inhale, arch up halfway. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, come up, arms up over the head. And exhale, you can bring your hands to heart center. We'll do one more Surya A, but stepping the feet forward at the same time. So inhale, arms up. And exhale, fold it forward. And inhale, arch up. And if you want to hop or step, take it back, lower down, chaturanga. So this is your body starts to get warmer. And inhale through your cobra. And exhale, down dog. Couple of breaths in your down dog. So it's not necessarily that we're trying to bypass rhythms and change in our yoga practice. We're actually just trying to learn how to be with our rhythms, and then that teaches us how to be with like the darker seasons and things that come into our life that require more of our grace. Hop or step, come to the front edge of your mats and arch up halfway. Inhale. Exhale, fold it down. And inhale, come up, arms up over the head. And place your hands to your hips. And sit your hips back. And then we'll do just our pedaling through our feet that we do. Lifting up as high as you can, up to your tippy toes. Then adding the rolling over your toes. as your feet start to warm up so that you can start to get into the tops of the feet and the ankles and the shins. Okay, then sit back through your chair pose and bring your arms up. Then take your right arm and reach it out behind, look back toward the hands. In the inhale, arm comes up. In the exhale to the other side, left hand reaches back. In the inhale, arm comes up. Arms come down, interlace your fingers, open the chest. Fold forward. You can keep your legs bent at first. Your arms come up and over, your head comes down. You can shake your head. And then release the hands to the ground. Arch up halfway. And step your left foot back and go into a lunge. And the left hand pushes down into the mat. The right arm can come up. Come into your twist. And the hand comes down to the inside of the foot. And you're going to straighten the front leg. So it might not be ready to straighten out all the way, but you straighten it and lift your toes up toward the sky. So toes are lifted, you're more in the heel of the feet. And walk your hands along the long edge of the mat, bend your left leg and come into a side runner's lunge. Then come around to the front into a regular lunge. And straighten the front leg out. Lift the toes. Push it back through that hip. And bend the left leg. Come into your side lunge. Repeat one more time. So front leg into your regular lunge. Lift through the chest. And straighten the front leg. Lift the toes into your hamstring. Walk your hands along the long edge and left leg bend, side runner's lunge. And when you come up with a wide squat and your feet out wider and turning your feet out. And then at first just pushing the hips back and pushing the inner thighs back and pushing your knees away from you. And now scoop your tailbone under. So there's one thing pushing the hips back, and then another thing scooping your tailbone under. You'll probably feel your feet pressing into the floor more, and your pubic bone draws up and your belly comes up. Good. Then push your hips back on an inhale. And then the exhale, scoop your tailbone under. Good. Now inhale, push the hips back. Exhale, tailbone comes under. Keep your tailbone under. Go a little bit deeper. Maybe you can bend your knees more, just slightly more with your tailbone scooped under. You'll feel your inner thighs in a different kind of a way. Good. Then press the hips back again. Good. And the exhale, scoop your tailbone under. And one more time, sink in maybe just a little bit lower. Good. And push your hips back. You can keep your hips back. Right shoulder in toward your left knee. And left shoulder in toward your right knee. Good. Then right ear toward your left knee. Then left ear toward your right knee. All right, and then come all the way up. Turn your toes to face toward the front. Feel those inner thighs toward the long edge of your mat. Excuse me. Bring the arms up. And exhale. Take your standing wide-legged forward fold. And then you can feel you don't quit breathing, even though you're holding a posture, you keep breathing. The cycle or your rhythm becomes more subtle because you're not moving so much, but the rhythm is still there. And then inhale, arch it up halfway. Come around to your lunge, right leg forward. Step your back foot next to the front foot, come to the front edge of your mat. Inhale, arch up. Exhale, fold down. And inhale, come up through your chair pose. So sit back through your hips. But now interlace catch your opposite elbows, push the head back. Exhale, pull over to the right. And then inhale up. And then exhale, pull over to the left. And come through center. Then straighten. Well, actually keep your legs bent. Sorry, keep your legs bent, but hold your opposite elbows. And you can add a little sway side to side just to help to release your back and your hamstrings. Good. All right, release the arms and arch up halfway. Step your right foot back for a lunge. Right hand stays on the floor, left arm comes up and twist. And the exhale, hands to the floor to the inside. Then straighten the front leg, lift up through the toes. And then move your hands along the long edge, bend your right leg, side runner's lunge. And then come to the front, to your lunge, the left leg bends, lunge. And then straighten the front leg, lift through the toes. And walk your hands along the inside, right leg bends, side lunge. Repeat once more through your lunge. Then straighten the front leg, lift the toes, keep breathing. And back leg bends for your side runner's lunge. And come to both feet, once again facing along the longer edge of the mat. And you can turn your legs out, but come up more so that you're not in a squatted position. And we're gonna step our feet in slightly closer together. Think of maybe about, I don't know, a little bit wide. I was thinking second position, about right there.
I got it.
The legs just slightly listen. First position are your heels together. Second position. If you do second position, the way I guess you pull your foot out, whichever foot, and then land it.
I got it.
And that's like second position normally, right?
Or really good.
Exactly. Okay, because we've also been working on this anterior and posterior tilt of the hips. Well, this one we're going to take more the turnout, because obviously in dance you do more turnout. In yoga we don't do a lot of turnout, but I think doing some turnout is actually good to help enforce your turnout muscles, like your glute muscles. We need those to work as well. Okay, so bring your tailbone down, and your feet or your legs are turning out, but your turnout muscles are your glutes. Okay, you feel that, and think of more of not trying to flatten your spine, but just lengthen the spine. We're not trying to take all the curves out of the spine. We're just trying to neutralize your pelvis. So get your pelvis as neutral as possible without your butt sticking out behind you. Then continue to push down through the inner thighs and bend your legs, but keep your tailbone more down. You can do whatever you want to with your hands. If you want to bring them out in front a little bit to give you balance, You can do that and see how low you can start to come down, but keep your butt under instead of sticking out behind you, and then press it back up. That's the hard part, because we want to, we're always wanting to stick our butt out. In this particular one, we're trying not to stick our butt out. We're trying to just keep our butt neutral. Think just hips, pelvis neutral. And then do it again. Come down, then your arms can come in front. And we'll balance it out with maybe some malasanas and some squats, regular squats in a minute. But bring your tailbone down. It just reinforces also your legs and your inner thighs a certain way. And then inhale, come up. All right, and then just go one more. Come down. Use your butt. Take it down. Yeah. And inhale, press it back up. Okay, now turn your toes more forward. And now go back into your malasana. Different. I mean, it feels different, the sensations.
With the butt negative?
Well, yeah, I mean, the butt, you want it to come down.
Yeah.
Eventually, it has to kind of pop back a little bit. Otherwise, you won't get down.
But not tucked.
But not completely tucked. Yeah, and inhale, bring it back up. All right, but do try to keep your feet more just planted and your legs solid. Come down. You're pushing through the quads. Do push the quads down. All right, and when you come down, there is a little scooping under of the tailbone. So think of pushing your butt in closer towards like you're trying to move your butt in between your calves. Like move your butt more forward in between your calves. And then push it back up. And one more time. Come down through your mouth. So you're experimenting to more with a fuller range of motions in your joints. Good. And press it back up. Beautiful. Okay. Take your feet out wide again. Toes can continue to face forward. Left arm forward, right arm back. And as you come forward, left hand to the floor, right arm comes up into a twist. Yeah, and your left hand can come to the outside of the right shin. You start to draw in closer toward the right leg and take the top arm, wrap it around your back, and fold it over that right leg. Keep breathing. And then inhale, come up, arms up over the head. When we move our bodies, talking about trying not to, moving with rhythm and change. Right arm comes forward, left arm back. And come down into your twist with the left arm up. By being able to move through the rhythms of our life with grace, what happens is when our body is stuck rigid in time, or rigid and stuck, it's actually kind of frozen in time, right? And bring the right hand to the outside of the left shin and wrap that top arm around the back and come in closer. That's what, like these trauma responses that we hold in our bodies, it's parts of us, like parts of our energy that's frozen in time. So we're trying to unstick ourselves from all those moments. Good. And then you can come through the center, let it in an arch up halfway, and come toward the front of your mat into your lunge, and step your back foot next to your front foot to your forward fold. Grab a hold of your big toes into your Hastasana. And if you need to soften your knees, that's fine. And pull it in and up through your stomach muscles, through your abdominals. That'll access your hamstrings. Then we'll go into Hastasana, where you take your hands and place them underneath your feet. You might feel that more into the lower part of your back. And release your hands from underneath your feet, arch up halfway. And you can come all the way up. Bring the arms up over the head. And exhale, arms come down. And inhale, arms come up. And exhale, fold it forward. And inhale, halfway up. And step back, go into your plank pose. Bring your left hand to the center. Do your side plank pose. Feet can be together. Your feet can be stacked, or one knee can be down. We'll take the right foot, place it behind, and lift it up through the hips. The little wild thing. Good. Now you're going to take it all the way around into your plank pose. So just come back through your plank pose. I'll let you decide knees up or down for you. So if you want to take your knees down, come down through a chaturanga, but then push it back up. So you're doing a push up. Good. Okay. Now right hand comes to the center and come into your side plank pose. And take that top foot, place it behind you, lift up through the hips, open the front body, come back around, come into your plank pose, and we'll do the same thing, and knees up or down, come down, and now press it up, push up. Yeah, strong arms and going into your down dog pose. Lift up through your right leg, and step the foot forward, and we'll do your warrior one. On an inhale, come up for Virabhadrasana 1. And the legs are heavier. You do want more of the hips, that descending quality in the hips, and the lifting quality up through your ribs. Good, straighten the front leg, turn along the long edge of the mat. Left leg becomes your front leg, and on this side, come into your triangle pose. Left leg, triangle pose. Good. And inhale, come up, bring the arms up over the head. Turn to face your right leg forward. Bend at the front knee, and you can go to extended side angle. Forearm to thigh, or your fingertips can touch down to the ground. And then push, again, straighten through the legs, arms come up, turn along the long edge, bend your left leg. We're going to take a balance now. Go into your half moon pose, balancing on your left leg. Right arm can come up, or then you can stay at your hip if you're working on that element of balance. There you go, good. And you can place the back foot down. Inhale, come up, and come all the way into your lunge with the right leg forward. And step it back onto your plank pose. We're going to do the same little side plank sequence, side plank push-up sequence we just did. Okay, so left hand to the center, side plank pose. And place the leg behind you, pick up through the hips, inhale. Here's the back bend. Flip it around, go into your plank, lower down, and press it up, inhale. Good. Right hands to the center, side plank. Place the top foot behind you. Inhale, pick up through the hips, lift the chest. Exhale, flip it over, lower down, chaturanga. But push it back up, inhale. Exhale, down dog pose. Very good. Inhale, lift up through your left leg and step the foot forward and come into your warrior one. And you're stronger than you think, but sometimes we gotta show it. You just gotta sneak in certain things that pulls out your strength. And from your warrior one, straighten the front leg, turn along the long edge of the mat. Your right leg is your front leg, go into triangle pose, Trikonasana. And inhale, come up, turn along the long edge, left leg, your front leg, extended side angle. And then inhale, come up, and face this way, and yes, you got it. You're facing that one your way and go into your half moon pose. For your right leg, it should be your front leg in your half moon pose so that you're balanced. That's good. Good. And place the back foot down. And then inhale, come up. Come all the way around to the front. Left leg forward into your left. Then step back, go into your plank pose. We'll just come down to regular chaturanga. And then inhale up through your cobra. And exhale into your down dog pose. And lower your knees down to the ground. And then you can just cross your ankles. Actually, no, let's do this. Curl your toes under. Then press yourself up into a squat, but with your feet together. Inner edges of the feet together, knees apart. And reach your arms out in front. Inhale, come up. Okay, now you're going to open up your knees and your toes will slightly turn out. So instead of your toes facing directly forward, the inner edges of your heels and the balls of the big toes, or I guess that's the ball of the big toe right there, it's touching. And your feet are more turned out. And come upright with your hands on your knees. Pull in through the belly. Strong feet, strong ankles. We lose that connection with our feet. Okay? And pull your knees back together, and you can take it back and sit on your butt. Place the hands up on the floor behind you. And place your feet flat on the mat, but open up through your knees. Okay, we're going to try to keep this exact same position in our feet when we lift our feet up. Okay, so when the feet come up off the ground, instead of the feet closing in like a book, keep the feet pressing forward. Get more outer shin work. It's harder than it looks. Open up your knees and really, you have to really push through the ball of the feet and bring your pinky toes back. And straighten the legs and point the toes. And inhale, bring it back. And work those feet, work those shins, strong shins. Good, and straighten it out and point the toes. And the inhale, pull it back, work through those feet. Good, and straighten out and point the toes. Good, and inhale, bring it back in. And now place the feet flat and bring yourself back up. You might be able to do it without hands. I haven't been able to do it without hands. Okay, hands or arms are coming to the inside and the hands wrap around. So the hands are wrapping around the outside and place your hands to the bottoms of your heels. And sit your heels down onto your hands and pull forward and bring the crown of the head to the floor. So a little bit more into that low back. And inhale. You can come down to your knees for a second if your legs need a break. Your legs need a break. We'll do a little play around with our crow pose, but we'll do it. Did we lose somebody? Did we lose Steve? Yes, we did. Okay. We'll do like working through crow pose, like whether you get crow pose, maybe you get it, maybe we're just working the arms strength, the foundation of it. One thing I like to do too, just to get a feel for it, even before you try your crow pose, is from this position though, you can come forward and just come right over the legs, or excuse me, right over the arms. See how my knees are pulled in? And then take it back. Because that will teach you where you need to be over your hands. And it's a pretty good bit. So you take it forward, you gotta feel weight in your fingertips, and take it back. Maybe try that a few times. So you rock forward, your elbows bend more behind you, and then take it back. You don't even have to lift your feet up off the floor. That's actually kind of hard. Especially when you bring it forward and bend your elbows just a little bit. Where the elbows bend behind you. Yeah, like that. You feel that? That's your crow pose. Yeah, bend your elbows. It doesn't have to be a lot, but bend your elbows. Bend them more behind you instead of out to the side. That's harder than it is kind of harder than crow as far as the thing that makes crow harder is just the balance. But this part is it sets up the strength for your crow pose. And it kind of shows you where you want to feel the weight in your arms. Right. Yeah. Then with your crow pose, your arms stay here. So when you rock forward that same way, your knees come along with you. And that is a little like because your legs can rest on something. And then you can just do that. You can go from here and then rock forward and come down and rock forward. And eventually what will happen is you'll do it and your feet will come up. But you can just try to rock them forward a couple of times to set up the form, to set up the feeling. And when the feeling gets just right, the feet will more naturally lift up off the ground. That's it. Yeah. But it also, if your feet aren't ready to lift up off the ground, it gives you something to start to work toward. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it, Beatrice. See, they popped off for a minute, right? For like a split second. There, yeah. Good, yeah, look at you, yes.
It's a smaller package. That's a smaller package than doing it the first way.
Oh my gosh, yeah, if you were to try to lift your feet up
Oh gosh.
from that position, that would have been,
Yes.
that would be way hard. That's like level, I don't know what level that is. That's what the gymnasts and all those.
Yeah. do.
Okay. There you go. All right. Okay, and then from your crow pose, you can just step it back. So from your plank and come down to your stomach. And interlace your fingers behind your back and stretch open through the chest and stretch the arms. And you can also lift the legs up off the ground. And keep breathing. And then you can keep the legs lifted. See if you can bring your arms more into your cactus arms. And extend your arms out in front. And bend your elbows back to your cactus arms. And inhale, extend. I think it's more of an exhale. That one's kind of hard to figure. You can, because one is kind of, they're both opening in their different kinds of a way. Maybe inhale, bend the elbows, and exhale, extend. Go one more time. Inhale, open the chest, exhale, extend, and then lower down. Press your hands into the floor, press up to your hands and knees. Lift your right leg out behind you. Kick it out to the right. And place the foot down. Sit back through your hips and take your right arm and thread it underneath the left and twist around to the left. I know. And if you think about the left shoulder, push the outside of the left shoulder down. Instead of the shoulder popping up, push the shoulder down. And it just helps to solidify that shoulder more in its place. And inhale, come back up to your hands. And you're going to kick that leg out to the side again. It's good for your outer butt muscles. And take it out behind you and cross it over to the left and add this crescent twist. Slowly. And untwist, hands to center, right leg kicks out behind. Bring the foot in and into your Anjaneyasana, arms to over the head. And come around and add your twist to the right. And bring the hands together. So you're really twisting to try to get that shoulder in closer toward the leg. And you can even take your right hand, for a second, take your right hand and push it to the outside of the thigh so you can get that shoulder in more. And now reach the left fingertips to the floor. Yeah. Left, yeah. So you notice how you have to really pull around from the whole side body. Reach the left fingertips to the floor. Even if they don't reach the floor, go in that direction. And bring the right arm up. Be alive. And inhale, untwist. Yeah, both arms come up now. You can breathe. It's hard to breathe in that one. And exhale, hands come down. Kick the right leg out behind you. Bend the foot, or bend the leg. So the foot, try to get it straight up. Now pick up the knee higher. Try not to let the leg turn out so much. So exaggerate pulling your knee in. Because when the knee pulls out, that's when the leg opens. Pull your knee into the midline, exaggerate it, and pick it up. And when you pick it up, pull the knee more in toward the midline, like in toward the midline. And then pick up the leg higher, You pull the knee more into the middle and pick it up higher. That's how you keep it square. That's how you keep it from opening it up. Now straighten, push the leg out behind, and press the knee down, or place the knee down. Okay, so then inhale, lift up through the left leg, and swing it out to the left. Very good, and place the foot down. And we'll take that left arm, thread it underneath the right, twist. Javis, go the other way. Twist away from the leg. Also reason. Here you go. And inhale, press up. You can come up to your hands and knees. And now pick the left leg out. So pick it up out to the side. There you go. Then reach it out behind and swing it around over to the right. Walk your hands to the right and have your twist. And untwist, hands to center, kick the leg back. Step the foot forward into your low lunge and inhale. Come up onto the Hastasana. And you exhale, twist to the left. So we're trying to work our shoulder, our armpit closer to the leg. You can use your left hand, push it into the thigh to help you twist in and bring that shoulder, armpit closer. Then reach the right fingertips toward the floor. And maybe reach the left arm up. And untwist. And we'll kick the left leg back. And bend the knee. And pull the knee in toward the middle. And pick the leg up higher. And squeeze the knee in toward the middle and pick the leg up higher. Squeeze the knee in toward the middle, pick the leg up a little higher. Then straighten the leg out. Push it back and place the knee down. And sit back on your heels for a second. Okay, we're going to do one more thing. Because we're talking about cycles and rhythm, and then of course there's always like the almost like the death and rebirth cycle. That we all, we experience that even more, like even when you look at the flowers and when they bloom in the morning and then they close back, I know certain flowers that close and then they open and then they close. And that's like many little deaths and rebirths. We're gonna play with that with our Camel Pose. And we're gonna try this with the toes curled under. This isn't the easiest thing in the world to do because you need this quad strength right here. Like this pushing into the quads to help to turn you inside out when you need to. Your hands go onto your feet like this. And when you start to come up, your hands don't leave your feet. That's the hard part. Your hands stay on the feet. You start to push the hands into the heels of the feet. Open up like a flower. And you sit your hips back down and close back off. Right? This opening begins on your inhale. It might take you a couple of breaths to get there, that's fine. But when you go into that big opening, especially on the inhale, open it up. And your exhales begin on the closing. That's it. So you can just try that a few times, just going at your rhythm, at your pace. Find those strong quads to open everything up. Janice, you could probably go wider in your knees and your feet. Okay. Yeah, more like that. I think that would probably be more. Try that. You go. There, yeah, that looks better. And maybe you can go, if you got one more in you, you can try one more. That's it, Beatrice. You got it. And then just pop yourself inside out. Yep, that was good. And then once you finish your last one, you can just take your child's pose. You can flatten your toes out and take your child's pose. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. And it's not really it's not an easy thing to do, to pop yourself open that way. Okay, and from there you can go ahead and come on up and cross your ankles behind you and come back to your seat. And let's bring our legs out wide. And we'll come into just your wide-legged forward fold. You want to catch your big toes. You can catch your big toes. You fold forward. We'll bring our legs back together, but you're going to take your right leg and place it on top of your left leg. So it's kind of like a half Gomukhasana. Your knee is more stacked on top of your left knee. Yeah. And now you're going to add a forward fold. This always feels good. And you'll feel it deeper in that left leg. You might feel it in a different place in that left leg because it's grounding. The top leg is grounding your left leg down. And you can bring that right knee up and add the twist to the right. And inhale, untwist. And we'll straighten out through the right leg and stack the left knee on top. And exhale, fold forward. And inhale, come up, and bring that knee up, and twist around to the left. bones. Let your legs feel more grounded. Reach the arms up over your head. And exhale, reach forward and over the legs. Just take your Paschimottanasana, grab wherever you can grab. Fold forward and in. We're also more in the closing part of our practice. That's why there's more focus on the forward folds. And inhale, come up. Very good. You can start to roll onto your back. And take your legs into a happy baby pose. Try to keep your spine more straight, so instead of the back being really rounded, that goes a little deeper into your hips. And bring the soles of your feet together, your knees press apart into like a cobbler's pose, except your feet are up off the ground, and press your knees away. It's like you're pulling your feet in and you're pressing your knees away. Hug your knees in toward your chest. And take your hands so they're like at the very tops of your knees or the base of your thighs. And lift your shins up a little bit more so that your legs are at a 90 degrees. So you got a 90-degree angle in your knee. Okay. Now use your hands, push the knees away from you until your arms straighten out. And your legs are at 90 degrees. Now pull in through your abdominals more so that you're not overarching your low back. There's a little bit, tiny little bit of a curve in your low back, but don't overarch the low back. Use your belly to pull everything in. This is part of your abdominals and also those transverse abdominis muscles. Okay, touch the right toe to the floor without changing the bend in your knee. So don't bend your knee to touch the toes to the floor, bend your hip. So move from the hip, touch the toe down and bring it back up. Does that make sense? So you're not bending your knee, you're moving your hips. And then touch your other toe down. Yeah, but try to hold your,
It's the same belly.
yeah, don't bend, yeah, keep that. Lower it like that and like that. So sometimes it's just trying to get your knee wants to bend, you see, so it's like trying to isolate it. And you're alternating each one. This is more of your transverse abdominis work. I'm trying to isolate the movement in your hip and not move to the knee. Good. There you go. Good. Yes. Finish off so you feel level. You feel balanced on both sides. Good. And then you can place your feet flat on the ground. And then just add a little lift up through your hips, just like a little baby bridge pose, just to balance that out. Got it. And lower your hips down to the ground, and now bring the soles of the feet together and just let your knees come out. Yeah. And you can catch your opposite elbows and bring your arms up over your head. Breathing in, breathing out, just very naturally at this point. The property isn't bad, although maybe some like Some philosophies might say that Prakriti. So Prakriti, again, is just the natural world in essence. Prakriti is a natural world that's always changing, always ebbing, always flowing. It's the death and the rebirth. It's the circadian rhythms. It's the changing of the seasons. That's Prakriti. Some philosophies might say, well, Prakriti is kind of bad, because it causes a lot of suffering. But it's Prakriti, in my opinion, it's not bad. It's life. Prakriti is life. And we move through Prakriti by also understanding our own witness. So there's also a part of you that's unchanging. There's a part of you that is consistent. There is a part of you that's the witness. That's what's called your Purusha. Find the witness. And that's also part of understanding that Prakriti is just a way of life, and there's a part of you that will sustain. You can start to take your Shavasana. Like there's a part of you that won't know death, that will live forever. That's the Purusha. And one more. Conscious breathing in, breathing out. Moving fingers and toes. Coming to our seats, rolling to your side, and then into your seat. Our hands to your Anjali Mudra. Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.